Scotland's got a lot of big mountain adventures and a lot of technical riding with your roots and rock.
Generally quite steep, pretty gnarly.
Very rocky, quite unforgiving.
Really fun if you had the skills.
And Scotland's known all over the world for that kind of rugged, fairly testing, challenging terrain. Sometimes big distances to get out to those trails as well, big adventures, big days in the hills.
Sometimes hard to find.
Yeah, pretty rough and ready. Definitely around Aberdeenshire.
We're more suited to advanced riders. That was kind of what we had. That was always the kind of case for before the recent few years of building.
The initial wave of trail centres really created a great riding community and provided more opportunities for people to get into the sport.
Back then, the way that the bikes were kind of designed and the way that mountain biking was very much more of a challenge and adventure sport. So the loops were longer, so it was like 20-kilometre loops. And the challenge is both up and down, so it's more about like overcoming the challenge. It was kind of the way it was designed.
And that was a big part of the appeal of certain centres and certain places to go riding. And certainly here in Aberdeenshire, we had almost nothing that was machine built. It was all natural and rugged.
I come from BMX and I'd kind of just gotten into mountain biking, and I found it quite difficult because I'm used to the BMX and you kind of flow around skate park, whatever, and there just didn't get that kind of feeling from it. It was just rattle down the hill as fast as you can. And then went away to New Zealand, and then that kind of just opened up a whole new world of riding to me. Lots of flow, lots of jumps. I fell in love with that, and then coming back here, I was like, we need some more of this, we need some of that.
I think in 2010 it was, Developing Mountain Biking Scotland was set up. One of the tasks they had was to kind of help mountain biking sustainably grow across Scotland. Seven Stains were a core development, but they were mostly South Scotland. So it was identified that Aberdeenshire had the need for purpose-built mountain bike facilities because we had a strong riding community and a passion and an interest for more. And then it's a case of finding communities that support these projects, and the benefits are there for them in terms of health and well-being and getting their young people to learn lifelong skills, but also bring some people into those rural communities and support the economy there. There's jobs associated with these developments as well, so there's a number of reasons why it's good to bring the developments into our rural communities in Scotland.
Yeah, you see that in other countries. They're further ahead than us, but it's just like trying to catch up and even try and push it to that level as well.
Been to places like Canada and into Europe to sort of see what they were doing, so I think that helped expand the horizons of what we could do in terms of trails. And one of the great things about mountain biking is how diverse an experience it is. Like, everyone, as a mountain biker, has their own version of what mountain biking is. And we wanted to create trails that basically meant that you could enjoy it in different ways that potentially, especially in this area, we just didn't have anything like it. So we're like, well, this is what we can bring.
I guess what we're seeing in the flow trails that have been built more recently is they're probably slightly wider than they were in the past, and they've got more contours and shape to them. So you can keep your momentum, enjoy the gravity pulling you down, so you've got the flow, whereas in the past it might have been a bit mellower and a bit flatter and a bit smoother.
Barely any rise and basically just a path.
They were great if you were a beginner, but there was a real limit to their enjoyment for pretty much anyone who was past that point of development. And our goal was to be like, let's make blue trails fun. Like we want to ride them as builders. We also want to encourage our kids, like people who are getting into the sport, to enjoy them. That was always a real aspiration, something we wanted to deliver.
The sign of a really good one is that 3 riders could go down at all of different riding abilities. But one of you could be awesome at jumping and one of you could be like, maybe not so sure. You can go down it together and ride it slightly differently. Like you might be able to pull and do a wee double or something, and I can roll it. And we both have a smile at the end, so.
I think there's always a positive as well from a community aspect, which I think trails are a bit of a bridge builder with, especially for young people. It's this huge asset that allows them to get into mountain biking.
And like there's kids that live in the surrounding area who cycle like 5 miles, 10 miles to get here just to ride. Taking
a rider from a balance bike through to potentially racing or riding at a high level, they can race XC events, they can race enduro events here at Thailand. It's pretty amazing for anyone who's in the kind of local area.
I think it's been hugely beneficial to the community. Everything's just progressing. Mountain biking's progressing, the bikes, people's abilities, so it's kind of levelling up the trails to kind of match that progression.
We've seen over the last couple of years the kind of progression in terms of the size of jumps. I think there's still room to grow in that sense. Like we've now got this kind of building blocks to then create stuff that is bigger again. What I'd like to see is just diversifying and sort of blurring the lines between that and the kind of more natural trails. I think there's a lot of room to develop trails that are sustainable, but also kind of more progressive in different ways.
Trails that have the support, but then have the tech features.
And I think just broadening the kind of experiences, like getting more people out on trails. I think there's a real opportunity there as well to kind of, just get people biking.